The spotlight bathes Lady Gaga in a golden glow as the last haunting notes of her ballad linger in the air. The packed auditorium, filled with a mix of celebrities and devoted fans, falls into a reverent silence, the kind that follows a truly moving performance. But this serene moment is abruptly shattered. From the back of the room, a voice cuts through the stillness, harsh and laden with emotion. "Do you even care?" The words echo, each syllable dripping with accusation. The crowd's heads turn in unison, searching for the source of the disruption, as a stunned Lady Gaga holds her pose, her expression frozen. In that brief pause, the atmosphere thickens with tension. The fan shout is not just a break in decorum, but a direct challenge to the pop icon herself, turning all eyes on her in anticipation of her response. This unexpected outburst sets the stage for a confrontation that could define the night. What follows is not just a test of Lady Gaga's character, but an unfolding drama that promises to captivate and engage the audience in a narrative of raw emotion and surprising developments. Hours before the doors opened, the line outside the venue snaked around the block, a colorful tapestry of fans decked out in glitter, leather, and lace, all eager to witness Lady Gaga live. The event, a charity concert aimed at raising awareness and funds for mental health, was close to Lady Gaga's heart, a cause she championed with fervent dedication. Inside, the venue buzzed with anticipation, fans sharing stories of how her music had touched their lives, providing solace and strength in times of personal turmoil. Lady Gaga's involvement went beyond a mere performance. She was integral to the planning and promotion, ensuring the message resonated far and wide. As the auditorium filled, the energy surged. The stage was set against a backdrop of shimmering lights, each beam poised to highlight the night's emotional significance. When Lady Gaga finally appeared, the crowd erupted in a roar of applause. Her performance was electrifying, each song a testament to her commitment to the cause, her voice echoing off the walls, stirring deep, resonant emotions in the hearts of everyone present. Amid the sea of adoring fans stood Jacob, a figure slightly apart, his expression one of quiet intensity. A longtime follower of Lady Gaga, Jacob had traveled across states to be here, drawn not just by her music, but by the promise of connection. Recently laid off and grappling with the decline of his mother's health, he found himself at a crossroads, seeking a sign of hope in a steadily darkening world. Lady Gaga's songs had been a constant companion through his hardest days, offering him an escape, a momentary relief from his burdens. As the concert progressed, Jacob's emotions swelled. Each lyric seemed to speak directly to him, echoing his pain and his struggles. When Lady Gaga spoke to the audience about the importance of community and support in mental health, her words pierced through his defenses, bringing him to the brink of tears. The night was more than a concert for Jacob. It was a lifeline, a moment that he hoped would reignite the dwindling spark inside him. However, as the atmosphere thickened with shared emotions and collective anticipation of the next song, Jacob's feelings began to overwhelm him. The weight of his recent hardships bore down, mingling with the soaring highs of the music, creating a turbulent storm of emotions. It was this storm that would soon burst forth in a moment of raw vulnerability, as he called out to the icon on stage, his voice carrying an unintentional edge of desperation and confrontation. This prelude sets the stage for an intense interaction, not just between a star and her fan, but between two people touched by the universal struggle of human fragility. The high emotions of the crowd, Lady Gaga's impassioned performance, and the very personal challenges faced by Jacob converge, leading to the pivotal moment that would capture the attention of all present and echo far beyond the walls of the auditorium. As the final notes of Lady Gaga's powerful ballad faded into silence, and the venue still hummed with the collective emotion of the performance, Jacob's voice shattered the calm. "Do you even care?" he shouted, his voice raw with emotion, carrying over the crowd to the stage. The words hung in the air, stark and charged with an intensity that was palpable. The immediate reaction was a mixture of confusion and shock. Heads turned in Jacob's direction, Whispers began to flutter through the crowd, and a stunned silence enveloped the room. On stage, Lady Gaga, still poised with a microphone in hand, paused, a flicker of confusion crossing her striking features before a composed expression settled in. Her eyes, rimmed with bold makeup, scanned the crowd, locking on to the source of the outburst. Security guards, alert and ready, began to converge towards Jacob, their movements swift and coordinated. But with a subtle hand gesture, Lady Gaga halted them. She took a few steps forward, closing the distance between herself and the edge of the stage, her presence commanding yet visibly softened. "Hey!" She started, her voice gentle, echoing through the microphone. "I hear you. It sounds like you're hurting. Please tell me, what's on your mind? Let's talk." The crowd remained silent, the atmosphere tense yet expectant as Jacob, now realizing all eyes were on him, struggled momentarily with his composure. Taking a deep breath, he wiped a hand across his face, mustering the courage to speak. I've been a fan for years." Jacob's voice trembled slightly, betraying his nervousness. "Your music helped me through some tough times. But now, everything's just falling apart. I lost my job, my mom is sick, and it feels like the world doesn't care. So, when I ask if you care, I'm trying to understand, how do you deal with this? How do you keep going?" Lady Gaga listened intently, nodding slightly, her expression one of deep empathy. She stepped back, took a moment to gather her thoughts, and then spoke. "I'm so sorry to hear that you're going through such a tough time," she said, her voice sincere and filled with warmth. "I won't pretend to have all the answers, but yes, I do care. We all face our battles, and sometimes it feels like we're alone in them. But it's in these moments, like tonight, when we come together, that we can find strength. Your bravery in sharing your struggle reminds us all that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to ask for help." She paused, letting her words sink in, not just for Jacob but for everyone listening. "I keep going because of this," she continued, gesturing around her at the audience, her voice strengthening. "Because of fans like you, because of nights like these where we can share not just the music, but our experiences, our fears, and our hopes." The crowd began to stir, murmurs of support weaving through the room. Someone started clapping, slowly at first, then more joined in, a ripple of applause that grew into a supportive crescendo. Jacob looked around, his eyes wet with tears, but a small smile beginning to form as he felt the crowd support. Lady Gaga smiled back at him, her eyes also glistening, a moment of genuine connection forged in the vulnerability they shared. "Thank you," Jacob managed to say, his voice choked with emotion. "Thank you for listening." "You're not alone, Jacob," Lady Gaga replied, her tone reassuring. "None of us are. Thank you for reminding us that behind every face in this crowd, there's a story that deserves to be heard." As the exchange concluded, Lady Gaga beckoned Jacob to stay after the show to speak more privately. The crowd's applause roared louder, a sound full of warmth and solidarity, as Lady Gaga transitioned into her next song, dedicated to Jacob and all those fighting unseen battles. This confrontation, marked by raw emotional exchange and profound human connection, not only diffused the initial tension, but turned it into a powerful message of community and empathy, resonating deeply with everyone present. In the dimly lit green room, filled with the quiet buzz of post-concert energy, Jacob sat across from Lady Gaga, his nerves slightly eased by her presence, which radiated warmth and understanding. He fiddled with the hem of his shirt, gathering his thoughts before he began to unravel his story, a tapestry woven with threads of despair and resilience. "I've been laid off for months now," Jacob started, his voice steadier but still carrying a weight. "It's not just a job loss, though. It's everything it brings with it. The uncertainty, the strain on my savings, and worse, watching my mom suffer and not being able to afford her treatments. She's all I have." His eyes clouded with pain as he spoke of his mother, his voice cracking under the emotional load. "And with each passing day, it feels like sinking a bit deeper into a pit you can't climb out of." He paused, taking a deep breath, his gaze lifting to meet Lady Gaga's. "And your music, it's been a lifeline. That's why I asked if you cared. Not to doubt you, but out of a feeling of desperation. Because sometimes it feels like those on the outside don't truly see what we go through." Lady Gaga listened intently, her eyes never leaving his. As he spoke, she felt the echoes of her own past struggles reverberate through his words. Once he finished, she reached across the small table, placing her hand over his in a gesture of solidarity. "Jacob, thank you for trusting me with your story," she began, her voice soft yet filled with fervor. "I've been there, in that pit you described. There were times when I felt overwhelmed by my own battles with mental health, felt isolated and misunderstood." She paused, reflecting on her journey from darkness to advocacy. "And that's why I do this, why I stand on that stage and sing, because I believe in the power of connection, of music to heal and to bring us together." She squeezed his hand gently, reinforcing her words with the warmth of her touch. "You see, when I asked if we could care for each other, if we could really listen and support one another, it was from a place of knowing that pain, knowing that sometimes all it takes to save someone is to show them they are not invisible, that their pain is seen and shared." Jacob nodded, the tightness in his chest loosening slightly as he absorbed her words. "It's hard," he admitted, "to feel seen when the world seems to look right through you. That's why we need to keep lifting each other up, keep showing up for each other," Lady Gaga continued, her voice gaining strength. "And why your voice tonight was so important. You voice what many feel but never say. And by doing so, you've helped more than just yourself." The conversation shifted then, as Lady Gaga shared more of her own experiences, discussing the days she felt she couldn't perform, the nights she cried after concerts, overwhelmed by her own demons yet motivated by the faces in the crowd. Every performance, every song, it's a message that we're all in this together, that no one has to fight alone. They talked for a long while, the conversation meandering through shared vulnerabilities and strengths, an exchange of heartaches and hopes. By the end, a mutual understanding had formed, a bond created through the raw honesty of their exchange. As the night drew to a close, Lady Gaga stood, helping Jacob to his feet. "Keep fighting, Jacob, and remember, you're part of a community that cares, a community that listens. Let's promise to keep the dialogue open, to keep ensuring that no one has to suffer in silence." Jacob smiled, a genuine smile that crinkled the corners of his eyes. "I will, and thank you, truly, for tonight, for every night you stand up there and bring light to our darkness." With a final hug, a symbol of their shared journey and struggles, they parted ways. Jacob left feeling lighter, buoyed by the understanding that his voice had been heard, that his pain had been seen, and perhaps most importantly, that he was not alone. Lady Gaga watched him go, a sense of fulfillment in her heart, knowing that her music, her efforts, had once again made a real difference in someone's life. This encounter, though just one of many, reinforced the very reason she had embraced her public platform, to connect, to heal, and to inspire. After their deeply personal exchange in the green room, Lady Gaga felt a renewed sense of purpose as she returned to the stage for an unexpected encore. The crowd, still buzzing from the earlier drama, quieted as she took the microphone. The spotlight found her again, casting her in its intense glow, reflecting off her shimmering attire. She looked out over the sea of faces, each person carrying their own hidden battles, and felt an overwhelming connection to them all. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, her voice strong yet imbued with emotion, "tonight has been a reminder of why we gather like this, not just for music, but for connection, for the expression of our shared humanity." She paused, collecting her thoughts. "I want to dedicate this next performance to someone very brave in the audience tonight, to Jacob, and to all those who, like him, are fighting their battles in silence." With a nod to her band, the first chords of a poignant unreleased ballad filled the air. The song, rich with emotion and resonant lyrics about struggle and strength, seemed to pierce directly into the hearts of everyone present. As Lady Gaga sang, her voice soaring and tender, the audience was drawn into a collective experience of cathartic release. Throughout the performance, the auditorium was wrapped in a spellbinding silence, broken only by the music and Lady Gaga's powerful delivery. Her words, "Hold on, be strong, we're not alone," echoed around the room, a mantra for those lost in their own darkness. As the song reached its climax, her voice underpinned by the stirring strings of the orchestra, many in the crowd could no longer hold back their tears. They wept openly, moved by the raw honesty and compassion in her performance. As the final note lingered in the air, the silence was shattered by a spontaneous eruption of applause. The crowd rose to their feet in a standing ovation, clapping, some waving their arms, others wiping tears from their cheeks. The applause swelled into a roar, a sound wave of gratitude and emotional release that filled the venue with an overwhelming energy. Lady Gaga stood on the stage, her own eyes moist with tears, taking in the sea of standing fans. She had touched them, reached them in a way that went beyond mere entertainment, forging a moment of genuine human connection. "Thank you," she whispered into the microphone, her voice cracking with emotion. "Thank you for letting me be a part of your journey, for sharing the space of healing with me." The impact of the night reverberated far beyond the walls of the auditorium. Social media lit up with posts and tweets from concertgoers, sharing their stories and the profound effect of performance. Hashtags like #HealingWithGaga and #WeAreNotAlone trended worldwide, sparking conversations about mental health, resilience, and the power of community support. Critics and music bloggers penned articles about the concert, particularly focusing on the unexpected encore and its emotional depth. They praised Lady Gaga not only for her artistry, but for her ability to turn a potentially disruptive moment into a powerful platform for awareness and solidarity. In the days following the concert, fan forums and mental health advocacy groups highlighted the event as an example of how public figures can use their influence to foster a greater understanding of mental health issues. Lady Gaga's team collaborated with mental health organizations to share resources and support networks, using clips from the concert to promote awareness and encourage open dialogue about mental health challenges. The concert thus transformed from a mere musical event into a significant cultural moment, marking a turning point in public conversations about mental health and the role of community in individual healing journeys. Lady Gaga's dedication to her fans and her commitment to using her platform for advocacy resonated deeply, setting a precedent for how artists and celebrities might engage with their audiences on issues of critical importance. This resolution, catalyzed by a heartfelt performance and a communal emotional release, not only healed old wounds but also ignited new conversations, new connections, and a renewed sense of hope among thousands. It was a night that those who attended would remember not just for the music, but for the feeling of being seen, understood, and united in their struggles. The aftermath of Lady Gaga's poignant encore was as immediate as it was far-reaching. As the final notes of the song faded, the impact reverberated across various media platforms, each echoing the sentiment that Lady Gaga had not only delivered a powerful performance, but had also set a new standard for celebrity involvement in societal issues. Within hours, the story was picked up by major entertainment news outlets. Headlines lauded Lady Gaga for her empathetic triumph at charity concert, and Lady Gaga's heartfelt response to fans' outburst steals the show. Critics and journalists praised her not just for her musical talent, but for her genuine engagement with the audience's deeper emotional needs. On social media, the response was overwhelming. Fans and attendees shared their personal videos of the encore, their posts often accompanied by captions expressing their moved sentiments. Tweets proliferated with hashtags like #GagaCares and #MentalHealthMatters, as fans recounted their own experiences of the concert, describing it as a night of music and healing. A particular tweet from a well-known mental health advocacy group went viral. "Tonight, Lady Gaga didn't just perform. She listened, she cared, and she stood with all of us. This is how change begins. Not with one voice, but with many voices sharing one stage. Hashtag Unity in Music. Celebrity peers also chimed in with messages of support and admiration for Lady Gaga's approach. A notable pop star tweeted, "And Lady Gaga showed us all what it means to be an artist with a cause. Proud to be part of an industry where such compassion leads the way." For Jacob, the evening marked a profound personal transformation. After the concert, he had a moment to meet Lady Gaga backstage. The room was quieter here, away from the lingering buzz of the crowd. "I can't thank you enough," Jacob said, his voice steady but full of emotion. "Tonight, you didn't just sing for us. You spoke for us. For me. And I felt it. I felt heard and seen." Lady Gaga, gracious and genuine, embraced him warmly. "Thank you, Jacob, for sharing your truth with me. Remember, you are never alone in this fight," she replied, her words a soothing balm to his long-held wounds. This interaction, though brief, was deeply significant for Jacob. He left the venue with a sense of closure and a newfound hope, not just in his personal battles, but in the power of community and shared understanding. He shared his thoughts on an online fan forum later that night. "Tonight was more than a concert for me. It was a message, a sign that no matter how tough things get, there are people out there who care. Lady Gaga, thank you for making us feel seen." The next day, a local news channel caught wind of the story and requested an interview with Jacob. Reluctantly at first, but then with a sense of duty, he agreed. "It's important," he told the reporter, "that people understand the power of words, of music, and of being there for each other." The interview aired that evening, further amplifying the message of the previous night. Viewers responded with an outpouring of support, many reaching out through social media to share their own struggles with mental health and to thank Jacob for his courage. As the narrative of that night continued to unfold across various platforms, it became clear that the echoes of Lady Gaga's performance and Jacob's bravery were resonating far beyond the confines of the concert hall. They had sparked a wider dialogue about mental health, compassion, and the role of community in personal healing, a dialogue that promised to continue, inspired by the transformative power of empathy and music. Several weeks after the charity concert, Lady Gaga sat down for an exclusive interview with a prominent music magazine. The room was set intimately, with soft lighting and a casual setting, aimed at fostering a conversational tone. The interviewer, known for her thoughtful questions, prompted Lady Gaga to reflect on the night that had captured the nation's attention. Looking back on that evening, the interviewer began, "What stands out to you the most about the interaction and the performance that followed?" Lady Gaga, dressed simply but elegantly, leaned back thoughtfully. "What stands out to me is the raw power of vulnerability," she started, her voice soft but firm. "That night wasn't just about music. It was about seeing and hearing each other, truly connecting on a level that goes beyond just the superficial." She paused, collecting her thoughts. In today's world, we're inundated with so much noise, so much chaos. It's easy to feel lost, to feel overwhelmed and disconnected. What happened with Jacob, the conversation we had, it was a reminder of how crucial empathy and understanding are. It was a reminder that behind every face in the crowd is a story, a struggle, a plea for recognition. The interviewer nodded, prompting her to continue. "And how do you see your role as an artist in addressing these deeper societal issues?" Lady Gaga's expression became more animated. "As artists, we have this incredible platform where we can not only entertain, but also enlighten and inspire. We can use our voices to bring attention to these silent battles, to challenge the stigma around mental health, and to foster a community that supports each other." The conversation shifted as Lady Gaga delved deeper into her personal motivations. "My own battles with mental health have taught me so much about the strength it takes to face your inner darkness. Sharing these experiences, it's not just cathartic. It's also a call to action. It's an invitation for others to open up, to reach out for help, and to support each other. As the interview drew to a close, Lady Gaga looked directly into the camera, her gaze steady and sincere. If there's one message I want everyone to take away from that night, it's this: you are not alone. We are all in this together, battling our demons, facing our hardships. But together, we can lift each other up. We can shine a light in the darkest of places. She continued with a poignant call to action. Let's promise to be there for each other, to listen without judgment, to extend a hand when we see someone faltering. Let's be the voices that say, I see you, I hear you, and I am with you. Let this be our collective mission, not just as fans or artists, but as human beings sharing this world. The interview ended on a note of hopeful determination, leaving viewers not only touched, but also motivated to act. Lady Gaga's words resonated, sparking a wave of positive responses across social media platforms. People began sharing their own stories of struggle and support, tagging them with hashtag #TogetherWithGaga, a hashtag that quickly trended worldwide. In the days that followed, mental health organizations reported an increase in donations and volunteers, citing Lady Gaga's interview as a catalyst. Schools and community centers started initiating more open conversations about mental health, and workplaces began to implement better support systems for their employees. The impact of Lady Gaga's reflective ending was profound, turning a moment of personal connection into a global movement. It reminded everyone that while the battle may be hard, the war is never fought alone. By standing together, by showing up for each other, society can not only address the stigma associated with mental health, but also create a more empathetic, understanding world. Through her music and her advocacy, Lady Gaga continued to inspire and lead, proving that art can indeed change the world one note, one word, one act of kindness at a time. As the documentary about the night of the concert draws to a close, the screen fades to black for a moment, signaling a transition. What follows is a beautifully crafted visual montage that encapsulates the essence of the event, a series of moments that highlight the profound impact of compassion and understanding. The montage begins with slow-motion clips of Lady Gaga arriving at the venue, her face alight with anticipation. The footage cuts to the eager faces in the crowd, people of all ages and backgrounds, their expressions a mix of excitement and emotional vulnerability. These clips are interwoven with shots of Lady Gaga performing on stage, her movements both powerful and graceful, her voice a beacon cutting through the darkness of the auditorium. As Lady Gaga's new song, a ballad dedicated to themes of care and compassion, begins to play, the montage shows snippets of her interaction with Jacob. The camera captures their exchange in intimate detail. The way Lady Gaga listens intently to Jacob, the subtle nods, the genuine smiles, and the occasional wiping away of tears. This interaction is shown not just as a conversation, but as a moment of real human connection. The montage then shifts to the reactions of the audience. Close-up shots show people wiping away tears, others holding hands, and some lost in thought, clearly moved by the performance and the dialogue unfolding on stage. These powerful images are overlaid with audio snippets from Lady Gaga's performance, her voice strong and emotive, singing lyrics that speak directly to the soul about the importance of not just hearing, but truly listening and caring. Next, the montage incorporates scenes from the aftermath of the concert. Clips of media coverage showcase various news anchors discussing the event, with headlines praising Lady Gaga for her courageous and empathetic handling of a potentially volatile situation. Tweets and social media posts flash across the screen, with fans expressing their admiration and recounting how the concert and Lady Gaga's actions have inspired them to act with more kindness and empathy in their own lives. The final part of the montage features scenes from community events and charity drives that were inspired by the concert, showing groups of people gathered together, working to make a difference in their communities. These images are powerful, showing a ripple effect of kindness that started from one night, from one act of understanding. As the song reaches its crescendo, the screen slowly fades to Lady Gaga sitting in a quiet, softly lit room. She looks directly into the camera, her expression sincere and heartfelt. Tonight, she begins, her voice steady and clear. We witnessed the transformative power of empathy. We saw firsthand how a single moment of true understanding can alter the course of a life. This is the power of kindness. This is the strength we gain when we stand together in compassion and love. She pauses, allowing her words to resonate. Let this night be a reminder to us all, she continues, that we have the power to change lives, not just with grand gestures, but with the small acts of kindness we can offer each other every day. Whether it's listening to someone's story, offering a comforting word, or simply being there, these are the moments that build bridges, that heal us, that remind us we are not alone. The screen fades to black once more, and in elegant white script, the words appear. In a world where you can be anything, be kind. The documentary ends on this note, leaving viewers with a powerful message of hope and a call to action to bring more understanding and compassion into their lives and the lives of others. This final scene not only wraps up the narrative of the concert night, but also extends an invitation to everyone watching to continue spreading the message of empathy and kindness in their own ways.